And welcome back to our reflection on the faith perspective that we take as regards this coronavirus pandemic experience, this bigger-than-life experience that we're all, for want of a better term, immersed in. I believe then us as people of faith, in addition to everything that the medical people say and everything the economical people say and everything the political people say, people of faith approach this with the revelation of our faith. And for us, that's the teaching of Jesus. Religious practice is how we express and live out what we believe. We have certain things we believe, and then as a result, we live that out in different ways we live our life, but then more specifically, some particular religious celebrations or rituals. And especially as Catholics, rituals are a big part of our tradition in so many ways. Our Catholic faith, I remember, it's not uncommon where people would say something like, somebody would say, "Oh, boy, you're a Christian." He said, "Oh no, I'm not a Christian, I'm a Catholic." Like being Catholic was different than being Christian. Catholic is all under the big umbrella of Christianity. That's where we share a common belief in Jesus as the Son of God, Jesus as the Christ, the long-awaited one. And we share that with lots of other people who are Christian but who aren't Catholic. But our Christianity is lived out within the Catholic community of faith, and that community of faith has a unique history and also has a unique structure within it. A structure that's different. If you have friends that are of other Christian denominations, you know that we have a unique history and a different kind of structure as they do from us. But we're all Christian brothers and sisters. We all believe in Jesus, and we all try our best to follow the way that Jesus teaches. The pandemic, though, has struck, for my money, a very serious blow at our Catholic religious practice. And I think what I'd like to do is just kind of talk a little bit about some unique points of being Catholic that can help you understand why I would say that. First of all, being a Roman Catholic is a communal faith. That means we don't just live it alone in isolation. We live with other people. We join faith communities. It has a personal dimension. All of us has a personal prayer life and a personal relationship with Jesus. But because of that, we join with other people who have a similar, maybe not identical, but a similar experience and relationship with Jesus. But ours is communal. And that's why the coming together is so important. There are some people that say that they're believers, but they're not belongers. They're not going to belong to a community. For my money, I don't know how you can do that and be Christian, but maybe people can. I certainly respect that. But ours to be a part of a community of faith. That's why so many people have been saying to me in the last couple of weeks, "Oh, it's so nice to see the church on Sunday, or to hear Jennifer singing, or to hear the homilies, or see the readers, or whatever it is, to see those familiar parts of our coming together as a community, because we are a communal religion." We're also an incarnational religion. That means we make, in a particular way, we make use of tangible signs, tangible rituals. We call them sacraments. Tangible. We can touch them. There's physical elements to it. Tangible in that these elements are really important, but they open us up to something much bigger than us. Someone much bigger than us, and that is God, more than we can see or prove or touch or imagine. And as a result, we've been unable to celebrate, because of this pandemic, some of those rituals of our faith, whether it's Sunday Mass, whether it's First Communion or Confirmation or any of these other baptisms. We haven't been able to do that, some of those tangible sacramental moments, because they call for people to come together, and right now that's not a good thing for us to do. And lastly, we are a Eucharistic faith. In addition to being communal and incarnational, or tangible, we are a Eucharistic faith. The real presence of Jesus with us, not as a symbol, not as a sign, not as a memory, but the real presence of Jesus, we believe, obviously, is in a particular way in the Eucharist, which we share each time we come together for Mass. But Jesus is really present in a lot of other ways. For instance, in the Scriptures, which has become a mainstay of how we celebrate his presence these days when we can't come together for Eucharist. But the Church also teaches that in addition to Eucharist and the Scriptures, Christ's real presence comes to us in the community of faith, in lots of different ways. So that Eucharistic presence is really important to us. Now, what religious practice or religious discipline or religious ritual helps you to stay most clearly aware of God in your life regularly? What's one part of being Catholic, one practice that works for you in making you aware of God as a real presence in your life regularly? And once again, if you have an opportunity, just in a couple of words, put it down in the chat column, and let's see what are the things that draw all of us. Now, I hope that brought to mind something that locates you. What works for you to make you aware of God's real presence with you in your daily life, day to day? Second question, what about your faith practice are you missing most these days? What about your faith practice are you missing most these days? And once again, if you just shoot a couple of words down on the chat column, that will be helpful to us all. There are a lot of things that we miss, don't we? And we get a sense, just in our missing them, of how important they are for our faith. Another question. How can we be the church if we can't come together for Eucharist? Years back in my last parish, we were doing a little renovation of the church. It was an old church and needed new pews and painting and stuff like that. And so we closed it up at the end of January and opened it up on Holy Saturday night for the Easter Vigil. And for those 3 months, every week on the front of the bulletin, all we had was a question. How can we be church if we don't have a building to meet in? Kind of like the question that I just asked here. How can we be church if we can't come together for Eucharist, like we can't come together for Eucharist now? What has kept you going, conscious of your Catholic faith and your membership at the Sacred Heart community, without the celebration of the Eucharist in these past 6 weeks? Once again, if you'd like to put something on the column, that would be very helpful. And now, once again, as we wrap up, if you have any particular questions that anything I said stirred in you or anything you didn't understand, just put them down in the chat column and we'll take a couple of minutes, and as best I can, I'll try to respond to them. Once again, thanks so much for being here together.